Okay, so a long time ago, there was a tweet that basically had this gentleman sort of saying if he had to choose between a high credit score and a certain and an extravagant amount of money, he would choose a high credit score, which I thought was a little, bewildering because it basically all over Black Book there was this discussion. There was a mixed reaction of how important it is to have a high credit score in comparison to a lot of money and things like that. It was actually very complicated to understand. So that discussion made me realize that I know 0% about credit. I didn't know anything about credit because I always, I never really I try my best to actually avoid buying things using credit. The only time I ever even knew, or rather heard the importance of credit was when I got my first car. Well, when I got my first car from a dealership. Because my first car, I just got a mechanic, just fixed it up and was like, yo. Cool dude, by the way. I really should learn about automobiles. Moving along though, so that discussion really sort of sparked my interest into what exactly a credit score is. And after I don't know months of reading up on a credit score or reading up on credit score and credit in general, it just sounds like high tier begging. Like I'm not necessarily saying that it is begging. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having a really good credit score or having a certain credit score. I just don't. It's like after learning about it, it just sounds like yeah, it just sounds because the whole concept of a credit score is basically just like a measurement of how good you are at paying back money that you request. So you ask for money, you ask for money and you pay the person who gives it to you back. That's just borrowing. At the end of the day, that's all that it is. It's just borrowing power. Um, so I guess the flex comes in because there's a lot of things in America that cost a ridiculous amount of money. So obviously being able to just go over to someone and ask, hey, can I get this certain amount of money with no kind of absolutely no kind of no kind of back flag or a high interest bonus or anything like that. It be to be able to just say, hey, can I borrow this certain amount of money? I'll pay you back when I can, and just getting it. That clearly is a flex because it shows that you are reliable, honest. It makes you look like a decent person financially. It doesn't, But at the end of the day, it's just like you could work and earn that money yourself and get it without having to request it of someone else, which is so it's it's two sides of the same coin, but seems to have a better one seems to have a extra weight to it, so to speak, because you could work, earn all this money that you want to and get this expensive thing, or you could just get that, work and earn it and pay it back. And not only do you have the thing that you want, but you also have something confirming that you can pay back money really well. It's just like it's two different flexes. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the weird part to me. So I actually looked up, what are some benefits to having a high credit score? And I looked, and this popular article keeps showing up, and it's like 9 things that you know this thing can do. 9 things that having good credit can do for you. And it was like you could let no lower interest scores. I think it said something about how your car insurance could actually cost less, which I'm pretty sure would be reasonable for me because my car insurance is high. Um, but there's a lot that goes into the credit discussion that we don't, I feel like we don't really talk about that much because it's really simple, but at the same time, it's complicated. It's just like there's a lot that goes into credit, but at the end of the day, credit is just simply how good you are at paying money back to people who lend you money. And yeah, that's basically it. Another thing that I find really funny about credit is that it's ironic that Americans you know feel the need to flex about having a high credit when the American national debt as a nation, as a country, is like in the trillions, man. So it's like, imagine like going to another country and bragging about your good credit score, right? And it's like going, dude, don't your country owe like about $26 trillion to the world? It's like, sure, you're good at paying back money, but your nation isn't. So it's like, I mean, it's like being the shiniest. It's like, being the shiniest piece of dirt in a mud puddle. So there's that. It's just, I think that's funny. I think that's pretty funny. But yeah, that's I don't know about credit, but that's what I think I know. At the end of the day, it just sounds like, it sounds like the more I think about it, now that I look at some of these rich people and they're always talking about, how rich they are and stuff like that. It's just the one thing that comes to my mind is, so most of that money is not even theirs. They just got it from the bank, and they're paying the bank back, or maybe not paying the bank back because somebody else is paying for them. So it's just like a circle of who you owe, and which I also think is kind of funny because it's like, it sort of opens my mind up to how rich people like get the things that they want, because it's like, do they actually? Because like they don't work, so it's like, if they don't work, then how do they get the money to pay for the things that they get? And it's like, maybe they get somebody else to pay for that for them, and they owe that person money, and somebody pays them, and that didn't owe that person money, and so on and so forth. It's like the cycle, of pay and owe, pay and owe, pay and owe. So and but there's that though. And I don't really know anything about credit. I just know that my credit score is sort of getting up there. It's, like 700 even, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like, like the goal now is to get my credit score a little bit high enough so I could look towards owning a home, but who knows? That's just my take on it. Love and peace, or have a good one. Also, if you're asking about my finger, I smashed it at work.